So my people, when Yoruba said, think Yoruba first, like they mean what they are saying, these people can put their political ambition aside as well as religion aside in order to make sure that they protect the interests of Yorubas as well as Yorubaland. So Yorubas have woken up and they have determined that there's nothing like Sharia establishment in Yorubaland, and they are working towards that. So recently, Yoruba Muslim leaders have declared that Ramadan will begin on Saturday, March 1st, 2025, breaking away from the long-standing tradition of waiting for the Sultan of Sokoto's official announcement. This means that Yoruba Muslims, they are going to start their Ramadan before the Muslims in the north. This really shows that Yorubas are really in charge of their land, because they don't want someone from another place, giving order in what is going to happen in Yorubaland. And they have also demonstrated that they are not slaves to Fulanis. According to Yorubas, they say that this move marks a shift in the tradition authority of the Sultan of Sokoto, who typically announces the start and the end of Ramadan. However, the Yoruba Nation Self-Determination Movement has denounced the Sultan's wish for Sharia law in Yorubaland, arguing that Islamic law does not require Yoruba Muslims to recognize the Sultan's authority. And as for now, there has been no official response from the Sultan of Sokoto regarding this independent declaration. So Yorubas have been reacting and they are in support of this movement, especially Muslims in Yorubaland. This to show you that Yoruba comes first before religion. My people, let's just listen to Mayego and hear what he has to say concerning this matter.
If the controversial letter or declaration made by the Yoruba League of Alfas and Imams. Now that is religious, okay? So if you have been following, you probably must have come across people who have been taking sides. For example, those who believe that, the Sultan of Sokoto is the supreme head. They call him Amir of all Muslims in Nigeria. Now, there's an organization, all right? There's an organization that oversees the, the Islamic faith, Islamic faith and the followers in Nigeria, all right? From time immemorial, right? Somehow, Nigeria has been sort of like programmed in a way that the Fulanis, they are the owners of Islam, all right? So therefore, the organization that is meant to be overseeing the affairs of Muslims in Nigeria is, in perpetuity, is led by the Sultan of Sokoto. And until recent, and I can tell you the event that led to that too, okay? Until recently, people never really had, problems because they believe that it is the Sultan of Sokoto that usually would declare the time that they should all start fasting, the Ramadan, okay? But you see, when they started pushing this agenda of Sharia, it got some Yoruba. In fact, it actually started from the Northerners, okay, who never really sees the non-Fulanis as real Muslims. Or if you're not from the northern part of Nigeria, they don't really see you as, as a real Muslim, genuinely. But that is not how people who are like Muslims in southern part of Nigeria, that's not how they see it until recently, when the Sultan of Sokoto came for the Yorubas. And what did he do? The Yorubas said, we don't want the political Sharia in Yorubaland. But there were those who were also, the fanatic Muslims in, Yorubaland, who are kind of like, ardent followers of the Sultan of Sokoto. So when the idea of Sharia came by, so what then happened was that there were people being sponsored, there were people being funded, okay, to push it. And while they were doing all of that, behind the scene, okay, they were trying to use political leverage or leverages to get this done. Unfortunately, people resisted that. And the people that resisted this Sharia, this political Sharia, they are mostly Muslims. So forget about the fact that those who are non-Muslims have added their own voices to it. Say, no, no, no to Sharia, no to Sharia. The Muslims who are like Muslims in Yorubaland, they sensed, a kind of like an agenda being pushed, okay, to start what is believed to be a political Sharia. The one that they will tell you that Sharia is not for non-Muslims. Sharia is just for Muslims. It's none of your business, this and that. But experience have taught people that, no, that was how they started in northern Nigeria. They told people that their Sharia is not for non-Muslims. But we have evidence of non-Muslims who have been tried or threatened. We have seen non-Muslims who have been convicted in absentia by this supposed Sharia courts. So because of that, right, it became a very big issue. And then the Sultan of Sokoto was like, he's so disappointed in the Yorubas. So they were now pushing the agenda like the Muslims in Yorubaland or in the southern part of Nigeria, that they are endangered. Meanwhile, like the Muslims in Yorubaland, for example, were like, what are you talking about? Like, what danger? Sure, you get. Anyway, that kind of caused, level of division between those who are Yoruba Muslims that believes that they were not supposed to be listening to Sultan of Sokoto. But like I said, Nigeria is structured in a way that the Fulanis, they structured Nigeria in a way that pays them. So those of us from the southern part of Nigeria demanding for either restructuring or regionalism or the breakup of Nigeria and all of that stuff, right? So we are considered as a threat to this structure put together by these Fulani oligarchs. Now, in the hierarchy of the Fulanis in Nigeria, the Sultan of Sokoto, who is the grandson or great-grandson or great-great-great-great-grandson of the first terrorist in Nigeria, Uthman Dan Fodio, on record. See, no, I mean, what do you mean? I wanted to say no insult intended, but if you see it as an insult, well, maybe it is really intended, okay? So these Yorubas are now beginning to say, we need to cut ourselves off from this idea of whatever the Satan wants is what the rest of Yorubas, Muslims, and the rest of Nigeria must abide by. So because of this, when Yorubas vehemently rejected this idea of Sharia, this minority fanatics in Yorubaland, especially those ones from Ilorin, those ones from Ilorin who never really associate themselves with anything Yoruba, even though so many of them are speaking Yoruba, all right? So they call the Yorubas Elebo, Yorubas this, Yoruba, you get. So they aligned with their Sultan of Sokoto to disparage the Yoruba culture, Yoruba tradition, Yoruba's ways of life, and all of that stuff. They see themselves more as Fulanis than Yorubas. Now, this division in who should obey Satan or not Satan, right? That one is existing as we speak. However, the League of Imams in Yorubaland, they now came out and made an announcement. The announcement was that from the 1st of March, they were going to start the fasting, the Ramadan fasting. Again, don't forget, I gave you the background of why things seems to be going in a different direction right now. That's why I gave you that background. So that the Sultan of Sokoto should just control his own area, control your own area. Stay in Sokoto, control your Sahel border state, or stay in your Sharia state. You should not be commanding the rest of us outside your own jurisdiction. Because to us in Yorubaland, for example, right, we have the Obas, the royal fathers. And this Sultan of Sokoto is expected to be the royal father for them in Sokoto. Now, anything beyond that Sokoto can be whatever the arrangement is in northern Nigeria. That's their own problem, not ours. But you see, this thing that I'm saying to you right now is considered as a blasphemy. Normal, if they grab me with this kind of ideology, right, they will ask them to stone me to death. Now, that is alien to my own culture. It's alien to my own tradition. It's alien to everything I hold dear as a Yoruba man. Now, but if I am a Muslim, there are some people who expected me to begin to act like I am a Fulani. Do you get that now? And whatever is associated with, what do you call it? Whatever is associated with Yoruba is considered secondary. And that is an insult to somebody like me. That because of your religion, then you have to put your religion because Muhammad told you that, or your religion taught you that, which is not true. That Muhammad is Arab. I am a Yoruba man. Now, if I adopt the religion of Islam, for example, now there is no way I am supposed to put whatever it is over my. Don't forget, I'm not a Muslim, so there are Muslims that will automatically disagree with me, but which is fine. It's fine. But it's an insult for anybody who is speaking Yoruba to look at me and say their own teachings is more superior to my tradition and my culture. Do you get that now? But there are people who want to believe that, and they are not just believing it, they are actually acting it. So this little kind of division now brought about this face-off now. And what is the face-off? Everybody have to wait for the Sultan of Sokoto whenever there is going to be Ramadan. Okay, when I was a Muslim, you have to like wait for the moon. It's called moon sighting. So sometimes they wait for them in Saudi Arabia to sight the moon. And then they will say, we are going to start fasting tomorrow. But later, they felt like, people can't see, number one, time difference, right? Different continents. So people can't see the moon or sight the moon same time. Sure, you get now. So therefore, they now said that it is the Sultan of Sokoto that must see the moon. And when the Sultan of Sokoto sees the moon, he will now tell everybody, yeah, go and fast. That shouldn't be a problem ordinarily, but things are changing. People are beginning to see agenda to push religious division, religious war in Yorubaland. Now, those who are seeing that are being called, reactionaries. It's not that serious. It's not that serious. While others are pushing the agenda that nobody should ever question the Sultan of Sokoto, including you that are Yorubas who are not Fulanis. Now, that's an insult. I'm not blaming you if you're a Yoruba man that sees your Sultan of Sokoto as your Amir. Your religion says so, Abi, so fine. But I'm a Yoruba man. I don't give a shit about Sultan of Sokoto. I am not expected to give a shit about him. Do you understand? Now that I don't give a shit about him, that simply means that he has no right to trample on my own culture and tradition because of his religion. Do you see it both now, right? So now the League of Imams are now saying, they don't need any sighting of moon, sighting of moon. As it be so now, from the 1st of March 1st, 2025, they are starting their Ramadan. Whether they see moon or they don't see moon, they are starting it. So that in itself is the latest controversy of people, where people believe that people are trying to break away from the old tradition of this Sultan of Sokoto is the most, this is this or that. Like, what the heck? So I have seen that, I've seen their reactions and I've been like monitoring the back and forth and all that. Some people are already saying that whatever the Sultan says is what they are going to do. They don't know any League of Imams or whatever, which is fine. So the bottom line is that it may take time, but people are beginning to actually see the mismatch in what they call this one Nigeria to start with. People are beginning to see it. And this is like a form of protest. Because guess what? Anybody who is the Sultan of Sokoto is the leader of all Muslims. The person they make the deputy is the something of Borno. What do you call that one? Borno Kanemi Abinkon. So whatever these two agrees, the rest of you must agree. Despite the fact that the way they treat those of you who are Muslim from the south, Baba, if you are a Yoruba and you are an imam, these northerners, they would never stand behind you for any prayer. I don't know if you know that. People didn't really see that as anything before now, but it's beginning to kind of like, hit people differently. Like, we have just been living a fake. Everything about this contraption is so fake. Enough that in Yorubaland, you see, we have what we call the religious tolerance in Yorubaland. Religious tolerance in Yorubaland means in your family, as a Yoruba man, you would have Christians, you will have traditionalists, you will have Muslims, and everybody coexist together. Shehu of Borno, God bless you. And one Shehu of Borno be the deputy. Nobody from the southern part of Nigeria has any Islamic authority, because the way they structured it, okay, it's like everybody must follow them. You understand? So now that people are beginning to feel like, no, we are not. I like it. It's got nothing to do with Islamists whatsoever, because now you and your God, your relationship with your God is between you and your God. The moment people are beginning to want to micro-control you, it is always for a particular agenda. Here you get. So this is like a form of a protest in which I endorse the message. I endorse the resistance. And I will say this free of charge. Before the Sultan of Sokoto, before Uthman Dan Fodio entered the place called Nigeria today, they have had Muslims in what is today's Yorubaland. Historically, people have been practicing this religion of Islam pre-1804, 1807. The jihad that killed the Uthman Dan Fodio's terrorism, which they call jihad, that killed all the Hausa leaders, killed all the Hausa kings, replaced them with emirs, amir. Before 1804 to 1807, right? People have been going to Mecca on foot from Yorubaland historically. So how can some people who now, because of this mismatch, how did they put them above you? How? Because it is Nigeria. Everything about Nigeria that you have today is according to what the Fulanese, as well as the British, set up in that contraption. But when you begin to look into them, you realize that this thing don't make sense. Man, this thing don't make sense. And we are in the era when people are beginning to actually question things. So in the process of questioning, people are also matching what they call the, Protestant and then, resistance. So right now, we are looking forward to it's obvious anyway. I wanted to say we are looking forward to those who are going to obey the Sultan of Sokoto, and we're waiting for those who are going to obey their League of Imams and what have you, or they will finally find a common ground. But it is so strong right now, right, that not only will the Yorubas in the long run, right, not only will the Yorubas break away from the stranglehold fake arrangements that they put together in that contraption. It may take time, all right, or it has taken time, but we are getting to that stage where, people are no longer going to be led by their noses on everything, because people are still being led by their noses, right, all right, but not on everything. I can strongly tell you that. So in Ilorin, where they have been defending their Sultan of Sokoto, right? Some people are not surprised, like not shocked. Like they're just like, well, it's expected. But the thing is this: you can choose to listen to your Sultan of Sokoto, or you can choose to listen to the League of Imams, as they call themselves in Yorubaland. But one thing is, it is not going to be the business as usual, And some are already celebrating it, even those who are not Muslims. They're like, yes, we can no longer follow the dictate of the Fulanis. They cannot be controlling. I say, okay, I like that. I don't know, me, I'm a Protestant. Sure, you get. I'm somebody who doesn't agree with the establishment. Everything about the contraption Nigeria is fraud, is fake. It never has any input of the people. It was just some arrangement done by some people, foisted on the rest of us, and people didn't ask any question. until now. Now, people are asking questions, which Nigerian setting does not allow. You are just expected to obey. Don't ask questions. Asking questions would possibly put a target on your back. Challenging the establishment, challenging the status quo in Nigeria is considered like a suicide. Like, you can become a real target. But the only reason why it will not be a targeted thing is when a lot of people are aware of what is up and what is at stake and what is wrong and asking questions, which will lead us to the final answer that some of us have found. Answers like, Nigeria is not a real place. Not your own ancestors, not my own ancestors, actually were asked if they wanted to be part of this contraption. They were never asked. They were forced to take it. And then they gave them the playbook or the rule book of what to do and what not to do. Everybody just follow it. And since these guys once bragged, especially that terrorist, that bigot, Amadou Bello, right? The one that got killed like a piece of like a rabid dog, by the way. Sorry if you feel offended, though. If you are listening to me and you are the lovers of any of these guys and you somehow feel like, why are you talking like this? May Ogun just help me blind you, Sure, you get. I don't give a shit about how you feel about it, too. You understand? Because I'm saying the truth. You may not like my word usage, too strong, too vulgar, too insulting, the rest of that. That is your own cup of tea. Do you understand? So the fact that none of us was actually called to be asked that, do you want this? Do you want that? We were never asked, we were just told to follow it. That then means that when we get to the stage where a lot of people are now aware, asking questions, in the process, you will get your answers. And when you get the answers will then be your own sort of a guide, in the sense that when you know that this is wrong, this doesn't make any sense, then what should be the right thing to do? How should we go about it? Then we'll begin to find a common ground in challenging the fraudulent establishment enough that there may be a chance for us, there may be a chance for our own children or the generations yet unborn to have a better place they can call home, not a place that has been turned to the plantation. Nigeria is like the slave plantation, where everybody is just out to kind of like a step on another person to survive the mismatch. So I wish you, the Muslims, the Islamic, the Muslim Ummah, I wish you a very, very wonderful Ramadan when it finally comes, okay? But again, stuff like this are meant to make you ask questions, okay? Because at the end of the day, we all know that religion is just a tool of control in the hands of those who are the owners of Nigeria, for example, okay? But religion was not supposed to be like that, by the way. Religion was supposed to be your relationship with your own God, or anything you believe in, how you believe in it, and how you go about it without hindrance or what have you to others as well. But in Nigeria, everything is an agenda. People didn't know that. People just kind of like, just follow it. When you begin to ask questions, you become like, the black sheep in the family, and everybody will be like, why are you, what is wrong with you? Why are you always like this? Don't you know that, this is how it is done? Say, no. This is how the rogues, the criminals, hiding behind religion, hiding behind other nonsense like that, to perpetuate or push their own agenda. And this agenda is not in the interest of the people. I can tell you that 100%, for free. Their agenda, whether it is on religion or it is on politics or it is on governance, so when they push all these agendas, they are never in your own interest. Once you know this, it gives you a very clear understanding. It's like a clearer picture of what you are dealing with, who you are dealing with, then ideally how to deal with them. The other day, if you remember in Ilorin, some of these, Islamic clerics from Ilorin, they are always called the Yorubas, Onisheshe, Yorubas, Elebo, Yorubas, this and they are Yorubas, so, but they are like half Yoruba, half Fulani, like historically. Even though some of them are like a full-blooded Yorubas, but unfortunately, they see themselves as Fulanis or Arabs. Okay, so they call the Yoruba tradition or traditional way of worshiping, they call it, satanic. They call it Elebo and this and that. But guess what? In Ilorin, more than 50, let's say more than half of those who are parading themselves as clerics, they are ritualists. The same people that, all those things, right? Those ones that make you feel like being a Yoruba man is a sin.
Welcome to Chamress News TV.